Benzo Podcast, Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, and the WNBA's loyalty debate. Welcome back to the Benzo Podcast, where we look beyond the headlines and ask the questions everyone else is afraid to ask. Today we're talking about a moment that sparked one of the biggest conversations surrounding the Indiana Fever, and at the center of it are two names that continue to dominate the WNBA conversation: Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. What happened on the court wasn't just about one hard foul. It became a conversation about loyalty, toughness, team identity, and what it really means to stand beside your teammate when the pressure is at its highest. Caitlin Clark has become one of the biggest names in women's basketball. Wherever she plays, the attention follows. Every possession is analyzed. Every foul becomes a debate. Every reaction can turn into a social media argument within minutes. And that creates an unusual environment for everyone around her. When Clark takes a hard hit, people immediately start asking the same question: who is going to stand up for her? That's where Sophie Cunningham enters the conversation. Cunningham has developed a reputation for playing with emotion and physicality. She doesn't exactly play the game quietly, and that personality is a major part of why fans have become so interested in her. When the confrontation involving Clark happened, Cunningham's reaction instantly became part of the story. Some fans saw it as exactly what a teammate should do. Others believed the response went too far. And that disagreement is what made the moment explode across social media. One side argued that professional basketball is supposed to be competitive and physical. According to that view, teammates should protect one another, especially when emotions are running high. The other side argued that there is a line between playing aggressively and escalating a situation. And once the clips started circulating online, the basketball conversation quickly turned into something much bigger. Suddenly, it wasn't just about one play. It was about Caitlin Clark. It was about the Indiana Fever. It was about the growing attention surrounding the WNBA. And it was about whether players who show that kind of toughness should be celebrated or criticized. But here's the part that makes this story particularly interesting. Sophie Cunningham didn't need to win an argument on social media. She didn't need to spend hours responding to every critic. She didn't need to convince everyone that her actions were justified. The reaction from fans became a story of its own. Her growing popularity demonstrated something important about modern sports. Controversy can sometimes create even more attention. People who had never paid attention to Cunningham suddenly knew her name. Fans were talking about her. Her personality was being discussed. And her connection with Caitlin Clark became another storyline surrounding the Fever. That is the strange power of the modern sports world. A single moment on the court can become a headline. A headline can become a viral clip. A viral clip can create millions of opinions, and those opinions can completely change the public perception of a player. But there's another lesson here for the Indiana Fever. A team isn't built only around its biggest star. You need different personalities. You need scorers. You need defenders. You need leaders. And sometimes you need players who bring emotion and toughness when the temperature of the game rises. That doesn't mean players should cross the line. It means that successful teams need players who genuinely care about what happens to the people standing next to them. And that may be the biggest reason this Cunningham story connected with so many fans. People understand loyalty. They understand what it means to have someone standing beside you when things get difficult. Basketball is a team sport. And the kind of team happen when the ball isn't even in the basket. Now, does that mean every action on the court should be defended? Absolutely not. Players still have responsibilities. Officials still have responsibilities. And physical basketball has boundaries. But there is a difference between analyzing one moment and judging an entire person or career because of that moment. That distinction often disappears on social media. One clip becomes the entire story. One reaction becomes someone's entire identity. And suddenly, thousands of people are demanding punishment without even considering the bigger context. That's why this story is bigger than Sophie Cunningham. It's about how quickly sports controversies can explode in the digital age. It's about how Caitlin Clark's presence has intensified the spotlight around the Fever. And it's about how every player around Clark is now becoming part of a much larger basketball narrative. Love her or criticize her, Sophie Cunningham has certainly made people pay attention. And whether you believe she handled that moment perfectly or believe she crossed the line. One thing is impossible to deny. People are talking. And in the modern sports business, attention is powerful. So now we want to hear from you. Was Sophie Cunningham simply standing up for her teammate? Did the situation go too far? Or is this exactly the kind of competitive intensity professional basketball needs? Drop your opinion in the comments. And if you enjoy breaking down the biggest stories, controversies, and personalities in women's basketball, make sure you subscribe to the Benzo Podcast. Because around here, we don't just watch the game. We talk about what happens when the game becomes bigger than the court. See you in the next episode.